Hello there, everybody. What's up? My name's michaelalfox, or Mouth, or Fox, or Foxman, or whatever you want to call me. We're friends here. It's been a while since I've played, or I should say, recorded videos for YouTube, playing video games and such. But we have here Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. It's a game I've been playing a lot of lately, like quite a bit. So I don't really have any sort of hesitations with recording at this point. And yeah, I just kind of thought, hey, it'd be fun to make a few videos here and there of some car restorations. It's a really fun game if you're into cars and kind of mechanical things in general. And well, let's go take a look at the garage. I've always enjoyed cars throughout my my childhood and everything, and I certainly have a lot of favorite cars. And you kind of dream of, oh, you know, driving one or owning one, or even just seeing one in person would be pretty cool. And obviously some of these cars are pretty expensive, but that's the cool thing about this game that I enjoy, is you actually kind of get to tinker with a lot of these dream cars. I don't know, I find it relaxing, and I figured, yeah, let's record some videos, and I'll talk about whatever. And if you enjoy it, that's cool. If not, whatever. I'm still having a good time here all by myself. So anyways, if you're unfamiliar with the game, you don't start with a large garage like this. Unless you want to play, there's like a creative mode or something like that where I think everything's unlocked. But I haven't played that. You start with basically the width of this car lift. So you start with one car lift. Basically where this floor drain is, it would be a wall by default, as well as this area over here is kind of closed off. And well, Car Mechanic Simulator, the way you kind of progress is by taking calls on this here phone, and you see bunch of different potential customers, so we can decline orders if we want. And I'm doing that here only because there's an achievement for declining so many orders, and I don't need to fix up these cars because I have plenty of money. As you see in the top right corner, I have $40 million. But yeah, you start the game, you take customers' orders, they tell you kind of the different problems. So you can see here on this car, by the way, there's a lot of fake cars, but they're pretty much kind of like replicas of real-life cars. And they do have real-life cars as well, in the form of DLC, as well as mods. People can buy, or sorry, not buy, make mods for the game. And that's usually for those like crazy extreme dream cars I'm talking about for the most part. So your Ferraris and your McLarens and your really old Jaguars and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty sweet. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But you can see here, you start out and they'll say, oh, I want you to do this and this and this and this. And the real cool thing is sometimes you get orders, more like this one. They just kind of tell you a story. And they don't really tell you exactly like what the problem is. They might tell you, oh, I've heard a knocking noise coming from the engine bay, or this or that. So it's really cool. You almost get to play detective, and the more you play the game and the more familiar you are with cars, it's easier to kind of diagnose. But as well, there are tools that you can unlock that help you diagnose what the issue is. Like this is one room. This is the path testing, so this is going to help you test braking and suspension. There's also a test track you can drive the car on, which will also help diagnose kind of similar stuff, but like other parts that aren't captured there, which is kind of neat. There's also, you'll see later, you kind of like tools you can use on the car as well. You do compression testing and electronic testing and so on and so forth. So anyways, I don't want to blabber on too long, but I'll quickly finish up here. We've got a warehouse here, which is where you can store a lot of parts that you might be saving for whatever reason. This is our lovely paint shop. So you can paint cars and body panel parts in there. This is the dyno. If you don't know what dyno is, basically you put the car on these rollers, blow a bunch of air at it, and it's just going to tell you effectively what the power curve is, like the horsepower and the torque of the vehicle is at different stages in it. So you'll be like, oh, that's cool, 800 horsepower, and you'll see like when it's producing 800 horsepower and like you know, before and after, you know, it's all that kind of stuff. I'm not hugely technical when it comes to car stuff, but I know some of the basics. Anyways, that's just a cool way to see the sort of performance you're getting in the car. This is just a little office. It's mostly cosmetic, but you do have these computers you can go to here. This is like an online shop, so you can go and buy different parts. So main shop, this is more for internal parts, you know, to do with the engine or brakes or things of that nature. Body shop is for the external, so the body panels and windshield and fenders, things of that nature. Interior shop here is pretty much just seats and steering wheel, or steering wheels. There's you know, many different styles. You've got your rim shop, your tire shop, and then tuning shop. It's one of my favorites. This is where you get like the normal parts, but they're performance parts. So they're gonna give you more horsepower and stuff. So you can actually put these into the car, and it's gonna increase the horsepower you produce and basically make it go fast. I want to go fast. Body tuning shop is basically well, it's body parts, but it's kind of like custom stuff. So let's say you've got a standard hood that you would put on a certain car. You might have an alternate hood that's got like a, you know, a scoop in it or something like that. So it's just kind of like non OEM parts or factory default, if you will. This body shop here is purely for any modded cars you put in the game. This is where you find the parts for them. So it just kind of separates it from this body shop. And then as well, custom gear shop. It's sort of like the tuning shop here. You can get your gearbox here, but it's a custom one, so you can actually tune it yourself, and you can add, you know, all sorts of crazy gear ratios and all that fancy stuff to basically try and make your car perform in a certain way. So anyways, you know, we're going to be coming back to that as well. You don't have to come to a computer every time to use this. I can just press T on my keyboard here to access it, or this little radial, and you've got your tablet here. So again, you know, we're fully connected. As well, you can answer the phone from here. Photo mode. It's got a little bit of everything. So there's some other tools and stuff here that you will see, but I'm going to hold off showing them to you until we, you know, need to actually use them. So it's pretty cool. We also have a parking garage. I'm not going to go there. Right now I have 0 cars. I sold all my cars, which is why I have $40 million. And if you're wondering why it's still a pretty high number, it's because, like, I might have had a couple McLaren F1s I restored in there, and, you know, maybe some old AC Cobras. Yeah, no big deal. Just extremely rare cars. So yeah. But anyways, we're gonna go to the main gate here, and you can kind of see this little bit of a world map. And where do I start? Well, speed track. You can go there. It's basically like a straight line, a straight strip. And that lets you sort of see how your car actually performs, and your 0 to 60 miles per hour time, your 0 to 100, so on and so forth, your top speed, all that kind of jazz. This is our garage. This is our little parking garage. There's an airport here. It's an abandoned one, so you can kind of just drive around and do burnouts, do whatever the heck you want to do just to have fun with your car, test it out. Car salon, well, that's where you go to buy brand new cars. If you want, they kind of have like a rotating floor of different cars. So every time you go there, you're gonna see just different cars. It's kind of cool. So you can buy them brand new, but it's not as fun. test track. This is again where you can, I mentioned earlier, you can take the car there and drive it on different bumps and go around corners and do all that stuff, and it's going to help diagnose some of the issues the car may have. Off-road track, it's for those vehicles that got the 4x4s, you know, you want to climb some hills and get a little dirty, take the Jeep there. Well, that's what that's for. I don't go there that often, but it's kind of cool. Racetrack, that's, again, it's kind of like the speed track, but it's a track with turns and all this and that, and you want to try and get the best time around. So that's cool. There's an achievement. I already got it, but basically doing 1 lap in a minute or less, which I feel like would be a lot easier if I had an actual kind of steering wheel pedal setup. It's pretty hard to control the vehicles in this game with a keyboard mouse. It's very touchy. So, but anyways, yeah. Junkyard is really cool. We're gonna be going there in a minute. This basically, you can go there, you can get old parts, bring them back to your shop, fix them up, use them in cars. There's also old busted cars there. So basically my plan for this video, because the intro has been quite long, I apologize for that, but it's to find an old car, bring it back, we're gonna do a full restore. So it's gonna be a little bit of lengthy video, but hopefully you enjoy that. Car auctions as well are cool. We'll probably go there at some point as well. It's a great place to find cars of varying qualities. Some are kind of like full restores, so they're not new, but they're, quality-wise, like all the parts have been replaced and fixed up and all that. Or sometimes you find cars that are really beat up and in bad shape that basically somebody else would have found sitting in a barn for 20, 30, 40 years, and rather than try and restore it themselves, they said, hey, this is a pretty rare car, I can just sell it as is and still make good bank. So you can go there to get different cars of varying qualities, and then do with them as you please. And you see one barn here. The map can actually be littered with, I don't know, it's probably like 24 different barns at a time. Maybe it might even be closer to 36. But you get basically maps when you fix up a customer's car. They'll oftentimes give you a map. If you read the map, it'll add a barn point somewhere on the map. Then you can go to it, see what it's all about. They'll have at least one car there that if you want to buy and bring back, you can. Again, there'll be a busted up car, probably missing a ton of parts and all that. As well, they'll have kind of piles you can scour through for other parts and stuff like that. So it's kind of neat. Actually, you know what? Since I do happen to have one, why don't we go there, see if we find a cool car. If not, we'll take a trip to the junkyard. So yeah, also it costs you money to go to the junkyard, to the barns, to the car auctions. It's cheaper for me now because through playing the game a lot, I've upgraded, a lot of my skills, and some of the skills are, you get cheaper prices when you want to buy parts on the online store, or it's cheaper to go and visit barns and so on and so forth. But again, like I said, $40 million, I'm not really concerned about the money at this point. But anyway, so you can see here, just hovering over this guy, that it's something I can scour for parts. Certain parts, it depends on what you're trying to do and how much money you have, but some parts can be restored, others can't. So anything that's like glass, like these windows here, or the taillights, you can't really fully restore. But you could still use them if you want, but do you want to put a taillight that's at 16% condition on your car? Well, if it makes the car effectively complete a whole package, that'll still increase its value, and then you could sell it, you make more money, and so on and so forth. So if you're really desperate, yeah. So but basically when I'm looking for parts, I don't bother with things like these. Other parts like the serpentine belt, you can't repair that. Some things just you can't you can't repair. Metallic things, though, yeah, you can repair them. It's not a guarantee, but yeah, depending on the condition, you know, you have a good chance. So something like these rims here, we could totally repair those, or make an attempt. This engine head here, we can repair that. So I'm actually gonna buy these just to repair them, just to show you guys. But the thing is, they're extremely cheap if you buy them here, whereas if you buy it brand new in the shop. So we can buy it for a few bucks here, repair it to 100% condition, and then bam, customer's not gonna know the difference. So we're gonna go through. Not gonna bother with seats, nor the ignition distributor. Can't repair those, to the best of my knowledge. So yeah, we'll just look through. As well, the reason I'm looking through these, perfect, is every time you go to a barn, there's always one case. One and only one case. And, you want that because it has, like, parts you cannot buy. Well, technically you can buy the parts, but these are quality parts. So they have, like, an added kind of quality indicator. I'll show you when we get back to the shop, which ultimately is going to increase the value of the car, or even the performance, depending on the type of part. So now that I found the case, I'm not going to go through and look at the rest of the guys, but I am going to look at the cars. So what do we have here? This is the Bolt Hellcat. I think this is based... What is this based on? You can see it's got a modified hood here, though. It's got the engine popping through, which is kind of nice. So yeah, this is not a real car per se, but it's based on a real car. And I'm just trying to remember what it is, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to buy that one today. I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling it. This, on the other hand, this is a car. This is the Shelby Daytona Cobra Coupe. And this price is not a mistake. Yeah, that's $1 million. And reason for that, you know, I don't know the full details, of course. There's a whole history on these old cars. But this is like, they didn't make a ton of them, you know, maybe it won significant races back in the day. It's just various reasons. But this is a mod car, and you can see here the little mod graphic there, so you know it's a mod car. And that's also partially why it's more expensive, is it's up to the modder to set prices and stuff. But I mean, these cars, this actually go for millions of dollars in real life auctions, so it's not completely nonsense. So I wasn't actually expecting to find something as fine as this, but I think this is, I'm gonna buy it. Again, I got $40 million. I think this might be a fun car to start with. It's a beautiful car. And I 420 lol. Yeah, we'll buy this stuff. Oh yeah, the cases, they do cost $200, but it's honestly worth it. You get 3 parts out of the cases, although sometimes you can get additional maps, so you can get more barn locations to go and visit, but you're always guaranteed a case. So we'll open that case up in a minute here. First, I'm just going to tell a bunch of these guys to go away. Also, the reason that this customer is in blue, this is actually kind of like a storyline, sort of. So I can't decline this. And, you know, once you go through all of them, it's like, oh, you win, kind of, sort of dealio. I've never actually gone through and done all of them. But, yeah, I probably will at a certain point. So if we go over here, there's a repair bench. You can see. Now, some parts you get, if they're low enough condition, you can't even try to repair them. There's just so damaged that you can't salvage them. So they're not all going to show up here But these ones are good enough to try. So yeah, let's try this guy. It's pretty easy to do that, or I can hit enter, and you can see right here, it'll tell you each time, you know, the condition after you repaired, if you repaired, your chance to repair, and the repair cost. If you don't have a ton of money, you might be like, oh, I can't even afford to repair this. But again, money's not an issue. As well, the better the condition gets, the better your chance to repair. When you start the game, your chance to repair is something like, it's pretty low. It's like 40%, or maybe it's 50%. I can't recall. But as you go through, you upgrade your character skills, and you just get a better chance at repairing in general. So it's pretty cool. So now I got those parts. I can go into my kind of inventory here, and you can see them. The other cool thing is you've got different categories. So if you want to, and there's kind of a search and sorting and all that stuff if you have a ton of parts here. One thing I will say is the game's not super optimized. So if you have too many parts in here, it can get a little bit laggy while it's loading them up. So that's why I usually just kind of sell a lot of parts, and parts I want to keep, I put them in the warehouse over there until I want to use them. But those parts are those quality parts, which again, I'm going to show you in a second. But here, I'm just going to sell that guy. So you see, I sold that one piece for $400. If you remember, I bought all of this stuff for $420. So that guy's, you know, 40. And that's 85. So that's $525. This cost $200. So if we take $200 away from the $420, it's $220. So we made more than twice our money back on that, which is kind of cool. Or conversely, we could have just used those parts in a car if they happen to be what we're looking for. So I'm gonna open this guy up. Let's see what we get. Ooh. Alright, so this is the quality I'm talking about. So I could buy this gearbox or this rim or this belt in the shop right now, but they'll never have this like +1, 2, or 3 quality. And the quality goes up to +5. So that's really cool. So if you're doing, like as we go, there's probably going to be a couple cars that are like really my favorite, and I just want to put all my quality parts wherever I can in them. So that's why I save these up. I don't just kind of put them on any car because it's kind of rare, and again, you can't buy them, so you just have to hope you're lucky enough to get quality parts for the parts that you're looking for. So anyways, what I'll do, take it over to our warehouse now. And this might take a second to load up a lot of times too, because more and more parts are getting thrown in here. But you can see I've been, you know, collecting a fair amount of these guys. So we can just go, you know, engines. So you can see different engine parts. There's things like air filters and the engine heads and literally any part. Even things like, yeah, the pump pulleys or rubber bushings, so on and so forth. There's suspension with the tires, and there's some brake stuff, you know. So it's all fun. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to right click on these guys, move them over. The other cool thing is you have 8 warehouses. You can rename them. This one, I think I started putting some parts in here for a Cobra rebuild I wanted to do a while back. I didn't move them out, so yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, I'd like to build just the normal Shelby Cobra, which is a convertible, and use the parts on that. But this is a pretty sweet ride too. So just taking a quick look at it. Actually, we can do this is better if we click on status here. Now, with our skills, it allows us to immediately identify the quality of so many parts without even having to examine. These other parts, again, like I said, we have tools so we can kind of test to see the quality. Or you can just take the part off the car individually, and then it'll tell you what the quality is. But basically, overall quality of the body, 72%. The parts, so things like the engines and the brakes and suspension, all that kind of stuff, is 34%. The frame condition is 92, so not that bad. And the interior, basically the seats and steering wheel, is 83. But we have ways to fix all of that stuff. They also tell us what kind of engine we got here, what the factory engine power is. Here's the power curves I was talking about earlier. The engine value, so if you want, you could just take the engine out and sell that by itself, and then do whatever else with the car. I mean, you could still just sell the car kind of as is. So we could sell it without an engine, we could sell it with an engine, which is going to increase the value. We could sell it without any number of parts, right? But right now you can see the car value. It's still pretty high, again, because it's such a rare car. But most cars in this condition, you know, are going to be kind of crappy. And then also, we've got our restoration bonus here. So that's basically, once we fix up the car, get it all nice, 100% and all that jazz, if we want to sell it, we're going to get a nice juicy bonus on top of the car value itself. So fun little incentive. But this guy, I'm thinking this is going to be a keeper. This is going to be, you know, vehicle number 1 of many to come. And hopefully you guys will help me decide on the other cars that we're going to do. So I'm just going to move this guy. Actually, I was going to say, if we can, I'd like to take it for a test drive around the track. It might not have a working engine, though. It's a radiator fan. The thing is, there might be more parts that are missing than just that. It's just going to say, like, that first part. So it's missing from here. So I could, I don't know, actually, looks like it's got most parts. But the thing is, you know what? We're doing a full restoration, so I don't really need to test it. I know it's not ideal. So we'll do that with another car in the future. Let's just put this on car lifter A. So we do have 3 total lifts that we can use. Move this guy. This is our engine hoist. So what I like to do first, well, let's take a sip of my drink. Sip, your friends. I'm just gonna take off all the body parts, the various panels. This rear window's not here. Well, I know that said rear window. It's a weird thing some of the modders do when they're doing these custom cars, is they need to add extra parts. I don't know why they call them windows. That was the, you know, more of a spoiler, if you will, or a rear flare. Anyways, take all these parts off, including that license plate. We're gonna give this a nice kind of numerical license plate, or a sequential. So this is like the first car, and then we'll have you know, other cars, just so we can remember kind of the order that we've restored the various cars in. And then let's get inside here. Take out these sweet seats, oopsies, and the steering wheel. All right, another cool mode. This whole thing would light up if we knew the quality of everything, but you know, it's still kind of a neat view to see the general quality. So orange is bad, red is worse. You know, yellow's kind of like, it's not great, and then green is like, oh yeah, yeah boy. Obviously we don't have any green on there. So we're gonna hoist this bad boy up. These are slick tires as well, so now the thing I'm wondering is, do I want to do kind of like just a classic restore, or do I want to put performance parts in this? It might be fun to put performance parts in it. And you know what I kind of want to do is actually have maybe 2 versions of a lot of cars, or at least my favorite cars. So I'd have one that's just like stock everything the way it would have been when it rolled out the factory, and then maybe have another fun version where we put in all sorts of performance parts and see how much horsepower we can get out of the engine. So I don't know. The thing is, we could always swap the engines out too. So if we say, oh no, I don't want this performance engine now, let's just put in a stock engine, we could build the stock engine separately and then put it in. But yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that for now. Also, take that part off. Let's start in the engine bay here, and I'm just gonna start taking pretty much everything out. A lot of times you find with these cars that are sitting in barns or the junkyard is they don't have all the parts. As you saw earlier, we were missing a radiator fan, but that's just one of maybe many parts. Just the way the game tells you is it only tells you one part at a time. So if we had to put that radiator fan in there, it might have then said, oh, you're also missing, you know, this and that and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's kind of fun to go through that stuff. So a lot of these parts, I mean, I'm gonna repair as many of them as I can, but there are just some parts that are non-repairable. So I was talking earlier, you've got your you know, like windows and taillights and stuff. Any sort of belts here, we're not going to be able to repair those. Spark plugs, for instance, we can't repair. Rocker arms and these valve push rods, we can't repair those. But the engine head underneath, we can totally repair that. This exhaust manifold down there, we can attempt to repair that. The engine block itself, for sure. The gearbox, water pump. Any of the pulley wheels and stuff we can't. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'm probably forgetting. Rubber bushings, tires themselves, you can repair the rims, but the tires you can't. Any sort of filters, so air filters, fuel filters, oil filters, those are non-repairable. And yeah, so it's kind of, I don't know if you guys are, I'm sure there are some that are similar to me, but I've always liked understanding how various things are put together, how they work and all that stuff. I've always had an interest in cars in general, but for the most part, I've never really had the ability to really tinker with cars. I feel like that's the best way to understand something, right? Is to kind of get your hands dirty, tear it apart, build it back together, and then you really start to understand what makes it tick. Kind of hard to do that with cars, though. Unless, well, I mean, depending on your situation, right? But in my case, I live in an apartment. There is an underground parking garage where I have my car. It's a 1994 850 Volvo 850 Turbo. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot of automotive tools, if you will. And by not a lot, pretty much none, other than, you know, I have my ratchets and wrenches and stuff like that, but yeah, so it's just, you know, it's just kind of the situation. But the cool thing about this game is legitimately I've learned a fair bit about the basics of a lot of these engines and cars and how they work and how they're put together. Now, mind you that a lot of this stuff is fairly simplified. One thing you may have noticed is when we look in the engine bay, you don't have to deal with tubing and hoses and just electrical wires. Why am I trying to take that out? You know, all that stuff, because it would look like spaghetti for most of these cars and certainly wouldn't help with the optimization of the game itself. So, you know, they've admitted that, and I think it's probably for the best. Who knows, though? Maybe when there was Car Mechanic 2015, this is 2018, so I don't know if they'll be coming out with another one come 2021. I certainly hope there is, but I'm happy enough to be playing this one, and I hope that they add some more cars, add some more optimization, and even adding some more functionality or to the game itself. Like the tuning, like performance parts, it was DLC, so that didn't come with the game by default. It's free, but it's something they added after the fact. So I don't know, maybe they'll add some other stuff. One thing I'd really love them to actually add to the game is just like what do you call it? It's basically like, you see the engine hoist down there. You can get stuff similar for the actual body of the car, so you can put it on, you can rotate it and roll it around and all that stuff. I'd love to have one of those so you can wheel just the car frame around into the paint shop and paint it, but as is, you can't move the car if the wheels are off. So it's pretty much stuck here, but you know, that's one thing. I mean, there's other things I kind of wish they would include. Also, you know, I'm kind of on autopilot, so the way I'm disassembling this car right now probably seems nonsensical. I'll try to stop hopping around so much, but yeah, you know, I just feel like even in its more simplified form, it's a pretty cool tool to understand how a lot of cars are put together on a basic level. You know, and they have, you know, here we're kind of looking at the whole suspension setup back here. There are different cars, they have different setups than what you're seeing here. This one's probably a little more complicated than most, but other ones we'll see is like a leaf spring setup. You'll see that in the future. Got other ones with more advanced shock absorbers and stuff. This is fairly old school, but I mean, this is an old car from like the 60s, right? So yeah, and that's the other thing I like about this game. It's kind of like it's preserving automotive history. I feel like we're on the cusp of cars being pretty radically different and very much kind of like hands off, because a lot of them are getting just so advanced electronically and computer systems and all that stuff that the average person can't really, it's not something you can so easily have in your garage and take it apart and tinker with it, right? Like these mechanical parts, it's kind of like visually you can sort of see how it works and the order of everything, but when you start taking apart something like a Tesla, you know, they got all the computers and tons of wiring, and you know, so these sorts of cars, I mean, they're gonna be living on in museums and private car collections and stuff like that. So, but ultimately, I mean, it's a bit of a shame, but at the same time, it's probably for the best, right? Because as much as people love driving, I enjoy driving to an extent. I don't like people dying in such high numbers from automotive accidents, collisions, and all that kind of stuff. So I think the whole automation is generally, you know, it's gonna be a good thing. It's gonna be a good thing. But I mean, hey, they've got things, you know, racetracks out there and stuff. I'm sure they're not just gonna say, well, you can't have a manual car like without any sort of automation, right? You just probably won't be able to drive it on the road at a certain point. Well, obviously, there's got to be a transition period, right? I mean, I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but I imagine they'll be like, all right, well, you've got autonomous vehicles that are able to go on the roads with human drivers. Totally fine. I mean, they're already doing that. They're testing that out, so... but, I mean, you look forward 20 years into the future, 30 years, right? At a certain point, they're just going to be like, all right, yeah. You can't drive that old Shelby Cobra on the road anymore. Not that most people would. I mean, a lot of these old rare cars are just going to be restored and then sit somewhere. You know, it's like a mechanical piece of art, right? Like the Mona Lisa. Anyways, I don't know. You know, I've been rambling for a while, and if I do more of these videos, which I think I would like to, you know, pending mostly on the reception, but you know, I'm not gonna be talking so much about cars, to be honest. I'm gonna be talking about other stuff. Like, in fact, I want to tell you about my peppers. Which I've been talking about, at least when I've been streaming. You know, I like to talk with fellow green thumbs about, you know, my balcony garden I got going on. I mean, I always, every year I grow vegetables on my balcony, and I'm always expanding it. So this year there's a pretty big expansion, and next year I'm gonna add more pots, more containers, and see what else I can grow. But right now I'm mostly waiting on the peppers. So I have some, like, what are they called? Slim, super long chilies or whatever. Which are growing pretty well. Everything I've sowed from seed. Like all of my plants. These guys, though, I did them late. You're supposed to do them indoors 4 to 8 weeks before last frost. So by the time last frost is gone, then you bring them outside and they enjoy the heat and start growing, because they take a while. So but anyways, these guys have been fruiting and they're getting pretty big now, but they haven't started turning red. So I got those. I'd actually like to use them in a hot sauce for sure, but also I want to dry out a few of them and make my own chili powder. I think that would be quite fun. And let's go get some tools over here for a second. Oh yeah, so this is our battery charger, by the way. We can take old batteries, so we can charge them up rather than having to buy new ones. So that's not something you start the game with. Again, we don't start with like anything from here over. Pretty much we don't start with. So this is something you have to earn it. Here's a tool. We're gonna move this over to our car, as well as this. So I'll explain what these guys are as I'm using them. First one here, this is the welder. Basically, you just in this game, anyways, you use this to repair the frame of the car itself, and it's like a one-time sort of deal. So we just hit use. Yes, it costs $1,000. Boom. Now the frame was like 92% out of 100, so we don't really notice too much of a difference right now. But a lot of cars, they're very rusty, so you'll see an immediate improvement. But I'm just gonna put that back. The interior, not quite as good. They actually include. You see, there's little bits of rust here. I mean, technically, this is not the interior of the car, but I don't know. That's what they do. You know, for the most part, though, it's pretty decent condition, but this is going to bring it up to 100%. So let's actually position ourselves here, see if we can notice the difference as we apply it. Got a little bit shinier. You can see those gauges and stuff. Everything's nice and shiny, so that's pretty cool. So I'm just gonna tell these guys to go away. Now this is a car I want to do a full restore on for sure. The Bolt Reptilia. It's basically a Corvette. They have a few different versions. They've got one, what's it called? It's a supercharged version, but basically, you know, there's a hole in the hood and you can see the engine just protruding out. It's massive. So I'd like to do a restore on that. Pagani, this is DLC, so this is not modded. Like, this was made basically by the game devs, so it's pretty good. So we're definitely going to be restoring one of those just because it's good and proper. Again, a lot of the modded cars are, you know, they're good, and the body themselves, they look like it, but once you start looking at the internals, like the engine setup and all the other components, yeah, you know, they did the best they could. But anyways, Lamborghini Countach. This is I always like this. The Diablo is my all-time favorite kind of. I'm not sure if I'd say all-time favorite, but it's definitely up there, top 3 Lamborghini. I like the Diablo, but the Countach is pretty sweet as well. It's like the you know, the Diablo is pretty much based off of this, right? If yeah, got some Ford DLC, which is nice. This is kind of a newer Mustang though. I'm not into the whole new muscle car scene. I just think I don't know. I kind of like just the rawness of a lot of the older muscle cars and stuff. So, anyways, the reason I'm declining that, I think I said it before, is there's an achievement for declining like 100 orders and then like 500 and then 1,000. I just want to get the achievement. Anyway, so we fixed that up. Now we can paint this a different color if we want. Actually, if we look at this car stats here, sometimes it's different, but you'll see the factory color. So the color that this car was outside, or right straight out of the factory, and then, you know, the current color. So if we want, we can go to the paint shop, we can match the current color, we can match the factory color, or we can just do whatever color we want. That's something I'll do later once we pretty much have everything back on, all the different body panels and so on and so forth, just because I feel that helps me decide a little bit better what color I actually want the car to be. I see I forgot to take some parts out. That actually, this is kind of tricky. They've got it's like a weird little bumper. It's not even a bumper. It's like but the cool thing about this car is I think there are a few kind of variations you can have. So there's like a different bumper we might be able to get. I thought there was, oh yeah, that window. Oh yeah, they also have these kind of like little side dealio windows. Yeah, get down to 1%. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna save the engine for last, I think. So I'm gonna come over here. We're gonna repair everything that we can. You know, you're gonna see a few failures, but my chances are pretty good, even on this 15% doodad. And then you can see as we get, like if I go, okay, well, you can see it gets up to 99% once we get the quality up so high. Yeah, so here's a good one. We're at 86% quality, so we've got 99% chance to repair. Boom, we did it. So I'm just gonna blaze through these guys. Yeah, back to peppers. So, there are 2 plants out of all of the plants this year that I didn't sow from seed. I had this one pepper, it was supposed to be an Aji Rico. I'm probably not saying that right. A-J-I, and then Rico, R-I-C-O. Problem is, you know, I got it as a pretty small plant. It's grown quite a bit. It's been fruiting for a while, and some of the peppers are now a nice, vibrant red. But they look nothing like what they're supposed to. So I think the tag got mixed up. And so I have some type of other pepper. What I want to do is take a photo, you know, post it on Reddit or post it on Twitter and be like, hey, does anybody know what kind of pepper this actually is? Because I want to use it in a salsa. But like I also want to, or salsa, sorry, not salsa, hot sauce. But part of the hot sauce process is kind of like matching certain peppers and certain fruits or certain other ingredients, right? You want nice and balanced. So if I don't know what this pepper is, I don't know how hot it is, I don't know what it kind of will taste like, what sort of flavors. The reason I got the Aji Rico, one, it's about as spicy as a habanero. So, you know, it's not like not spicy, but it's not super, super, super crazy spicy either. And so that's kind of what I was going for. Something with a good kick to it without just being absolutely insane. And supposedly the IG Rico had kind of like a citrusy note to it. So I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. Just gonna buy a bunch of these in bulk because I know I'll... Actually, I'm not sure if I need the... Yeah, I definitely need small rubber bushings. Yeah, so basically right now, I'm just going to see which parts we actually restored. And as I go, if I need to buy a part, I'll just buy them as I go. Oh, so there you go. We repaired both of those. And those. So yeah, so now I got to figure out what this other pepper is. I mean, it looks pretty cool and all that, but I have no idea what the heck it's gonna taste like, so I gotta figure that out. And then actually I didn't need to buy 4 of those. Another thing I need to buy is the flywheel, the clutch. Oopsies. What else? Piston. Oh, wait. Let me see something here. You know, I think I am going to put performance parts in this because, I mean, we could get a lot more horsepower to this. 245 factory engine power. So by putting performance parts in this, we're probably going to, I don't know, knowing how this game is, it'll probably double the horsepower, which is pretty crazy, but it shouldn't be uncontrollable. And I think that'll be fun to do. And then we can do, next time we find a Daytona Cobra, we'll just do like a totally stock kind of factory one. So yeah, let's just oh yeah, and all the brake stuff. Unfortunately, that's one thing about this game. They don't have like performance shocks. They don't have performance brakes. A lot of the other components, like it's pretty much all engine parts. Not all of the engine parts, but you know. And then they have some exhaust, the gearbox. I think that's, you know, muffler. But yeah, they don't have all the stuff. So I'm hoping they add that stuff in the future. But anyways. So yeah, I gotta figure out what the heck that's. Was this a drum brake setup? Yeah, I can always, I mean, again, money's not an issue, so even if I buy more parts than I need, it's fine. Yeah, I can't remember if that's the drum brake or not. The other pepper I bought is Carolina Reaper. Very hot. 2.2, 2.3 million Scovilles. It's very hot. I'm not gonna eat the pepper raw, although I have a coworker who said he'd like to he'd like to not eat a whole one, but to try a bit of one. And he's used to spicy food too. He's Indian, so it's not like, you know, it's a foreign thing to him. But like he's saying, like he knows. We both are like, yeah, you might be used to like Indian cuisine, but like we both know that the Carolina Reaper is definitely something beyond that. But he still kind of wants to try just a little bit. So I'm gonna save one for that, and then let's see here. I think it's these guys. Actually, maybe it's those. I can't remember which. But yeah, I definitely want to make a separate salsa with the Carolina Reapers. And I'm not gonna try and make the hottest salsa of all time. I'm gonna try to add like a lot of other stuff into it. But it's still gonna be hot. Pretty much everywhere is gonna be hot. So, but that's where, I don't know, I have a question for you guys. What do you think would go well with an insanely hot pepper, like flavor-wise? So I'm thinking of a fruit, or like a primary fruit. It doesn't have to be just one fruit, but, you know, you see a lot of like mango habanero. I've seen a fair share of hot sauces that will use pineapple. You know, some will even use like berries, like blueberries or hints of raspberry. So I don't know. I think I'd be down to try pretty much anything. But do you have any suggestions? Do you have any ideas? Some crazy, wacky ideas? If you do, let me know. Because I would love to hear them. Yeah, hot sauce. I'm also going to be pickling up some of my cucumbers. Although I'm probably going to do that at my mom and dad's place. Because my mom, she's been making pickles and jams and doing all sorts of preservatives forever. And she knows what she's doing. And beyond that, she's also got like the canning set up. So I'm going to take advantage of that. I would like to buy my own equipment in time, but I think it's the reason I haven't gone and done that in past years is like I like doing that kind of stuff with my mom. I remember being a kid and helping her out with that sort of stuff. It's just like a fun little bonding exercise. So for my dad, you know, we can talk about cars and stuff like that, and computers and electronics and all that. But you know, my mom, when I was a kid, I'd help her bake stuff or make some food, and also when it was like berry season, go and pick strawberries. That was fun. Oh, this is a brake disc, fancy. Yeah, I guess it is a race car, right? So, yeah. So yeah. Also with the hot sauce, what I'm gonna be fermenting the peppers. Gonna blend them all up into a pepper mash, and then ferment. Probably, I mean, 2 weeks is like the minimum, but I'll probably do, I'd say closer to 2 months. So the longer you ferment, the more the flavor really builds up and develops. It's kind of like a fine wine, right? It's just ridiculously hot pepper stuff instead. Yeah, so that's gonna be fun to do as well. But yeah, pickles. I got zucchinis. All my I got some Tiny Tim cherry tomatoes, which are all pretty much ready to ripen up. Actually, a couple have already started. And what else? I mean, I got a lot of stuff. I'm just drawing a blank. I'm wrong with my carrots. Green onion, radishes. I already did a bunch of those. Oopsies, I bought the wrong shock absorbers. Radishes. A few different types of beans. A bunch of different herbs. I've got dill and thyme and basil and chives. I'm growing some lemon balm as well. I said cucumbers, zucchini. Oh, that guy didn't get repaired. Rear cross member, rear wheel drive. That's right, baby. Strawberries. The strawberries are amazing. Oh my gosh. I feel like I had some other stuff as well, but anyways, it's fun, and I'm gonna be adding more stuff next year. The cool thing I like to do is, like, the first year I was living here in this apartment. I've been here for 5.5 years now, I guess. But you know, I started small. I just started with a few plants. I grew a few things because I wasn't exactly sure what would grow well here. I have an east-facing apartment, and the balcony itself is huge. It's like 30 feet wide, long, whatever, which is, you know, crazy. It's an older building though, so that's why that's why it's that large, I guess. Is they weren't, you know, really cutting corners and all that kind of stuff, which is not necessarily cutting corners, but just being cheap. You know, it's a bit of a difference, but so yeah, I'm trying to take advantage of it. If I don't have a garden, well, that sucks, but you know, at least I can grow stuff in containers. And the cool thing about that is some plants actually do better in containers, or at least just as well. Let's see here. There we go. That's for the front. That's why I'm just buying those now while I think of them. And I've got, you know, a lot of containers of varying sizes too. Some pretty deep ones. So that's why I'm able to do stuff like carrots. But there's also different varieties that are bred to be suitable for containers. Like my zucchini, it's still massive, but it's like a container zucchini. So it's you know, the container itself is probably, I think it's around 18 inches wide. So yeah, but I mean, the zucchini's even a little bit bigger than that, but you know, it's enough room for it to do its thing, and I've had some lovely zucchinis grow, which is pretty cool. This is my first year trying zucchinis. I've done cucumbers the past 3 years, but I try a different variety each year, just to see if I like it more or how well it will do. But this year I've got, it's a pickling cucumber, so it's definitely they're smaller in general, and oopsies, I need more rubber bushings. It's a little more compact, and it'll be in a container. So yeah, lots of stuff. Just trying to think now, what do I want to add for next year? You know, I'd like to try my hand at some more berries. Do I need more rubber bushings as well? Jeez. That's enough. One thing I want to build kind of like a larger sort of wooden container and line it with some plastic, just so, you know, dirt and water aren't running out everywhere, because it's certainly not going to be You know, watertight with just the wood. But potatoes. I want something larger. I want to grow some potatoes because I love potatoes, and I think that'd be cool to do. The house I grew up in at my youngest age, we had a very large vegetable garden, and we did potatoes everywhere. I think I've done most of the stuff back here. I'm not gonna do the tires just yet. So yeah, we did potato. I mean, we did everything, but I always loved the potatoes. So good. Just harvesting them, and we grew a lot. So I mean, we'd have enough to get us through, well, a few months for sure. So yeah. Let's take. Wait, did I do the other one? Yeah. Okay. Actually, what I'm gonna do now. So this is our tire setup here. Oh yeah, by the way, just to explain, this is what we can use, spring puller, so we can separate old springs. These I'm just gonna sell, so I'm not gonna bother separating them, but we could separate them, you know, and just replace one part or all of them. I mean, this is one of those things that certainly the spring itself, you can't repair that, right? So, and again, I'm not really concerned about money, so I'm not gonna try and salvage those, but we can also use this to put the springs together. Tire changer here, we can separate tires. What I like to do here, because I always forget these numbers, is to write down this information on an actual, I've got a little cue card size dealio here, just so I can go into the shop and buy the exact same thing, and I'll have to like go back and forth a million times. So we need the rim Typhoon, which we can repair, but in case I can't repair some of them. And this is using the slick tires. Like I said, this is a racing car back in the day. So slick tire, I mean, there's no, it's like what you see in the Formula 1 and all that kind of stuff. There's no treads because you want to make as much contact with the road. It gives you the most traction and thus control. So, but I mean, you pay big bucks for that. Big bucks. Slapping the base, big time. And then, so this information up here, this is kind of the sizing information. You'll see more of that in a second, but I just like to write it down. 15. Now, the other thing is I need to check because sometimes cars will do larger tires in the back, slightly smaller tires in the front. This is not the case here, but it's just good to check that out. So I'm gonna separate these guys now. Again, we'll try repairing the rims. If not, then I'll buy the one or two that I'll need to buy. So yeah, I'm gonna take some of my drink here. Anyways, yeah, garden school. I don't know. Tell me about your garden. What are you growing? What are you harvesting? Actually, right now it's nighttime, but I can see right through my balcony door. I see a little tiny Tim cherry tomato saying, "Hello, how are you?" I'm well, thank you. I'm just, restoring this classic car. No big deal. Little Timmy. All right, let's see if we can repair these bad boys. So the quality on them is good enough that we at least have a chance. Sometimes if it's, I can't remember what the cutoff is. Certainly if it's 10% or less, you just can't even try to repair. But it might be under 20% or under 15%, something like that. But all right, so far so good. Yeah, it's pretty much guaranteed on those parts. If you see a part that's like, yeah, in the 20%, something like that, it's not guaranteed. The odd one will likely be unsalvageable. So I'm gonna go back here. We're gonna go to the tire shop here. So again, you can see different tires. when we get to other cars, other restorations and stuff, you know, I'll mostly be using whatever tire they came in on. But any cars that I'm trying to kind of make like super performance and stuff like that, if we want to actually be able to drive them and kind of control them, we'll want to put on these better tires. So like race tires or ideally slick tires, if you know. But we're not going to be doing that with all of them. But hey, there's already slick tires on this bad boy, so that's what we're going with. But you can see they've got off-road tires, some cool vintage ones, just standard tires. You know, it's kind of cool. So go with these guys. We're going to need 4. They're all the same size, and I wrote it down, so they're 15 inches. Width is 255. The profile is 65. Good thing we got some money, because these slick tires ain't cheap. Ain't cheap. Then we just go back here. Take our very nice rims, good as new. And our new tires. We're going to sell the old ones. Again, you can't salvage those at all. Rubber, you know, once it starts to wear away, like, what are you going to glue it back on? I don't think so, Tim. This is cool. So now we take this off. I'm going to set another one up to get going. Then we go over here. This is the wheel balancer. You can actually see, just, they've got the, these are like little bits of metal that you effectively are going to glue on inside the rim to help balance it. So different sizes and all that stuff. But in the game, you just put the wheel in there and it just kind of does it, you know. If you're a real car mechanic, I mean, yeah, you'd be doing all that stuff. And then, you know, these things are, yeah, the computers actually tell you what's what and all that jazz, so. But that'd be a little too crazy to try and mimic in this game, I'd think. Take this off. Get another one going. Take this guy off. We have one more. Yeah. So yeah, actually, I'll show you quickly the leveling system. I'm not fully leveled up, but you can see up here I have 51,106 experience out of, well, to the next level is 51,500. So I'm actually getting kind of close. You get more experience by actually, like, the customers, by fixing their cars. You get the experience from taking the parts off and putting them back on, but you also get, like, bonus XP. It's like 100 or something in that range for just for completing a customer order. So you can see, like, when you start out, you don't have any of these things. So it's Eagle Eye, just faster part examination. When you're looking at a part, if you want to see the quality without actually taking it off the car. Although some parts you just have to take off the car, or do some other testing. You know, this is faster screwing and unscrewing. LOL. You know, removing parts, so on and so forth. And then you get into stuff like this. So this is our first expansion of the garage, and it adds a test path and a repair bench, so we can actually try and repair the parts. And you start getting these different tools, the tire tread tester, the electronic multimeter, the OBD scanner, all that kind of stuff. So it kind of helps you diagnose the car in different ways, again, to see the quality of the parts without taking them off, which is kind of convenient, especially when, say, it could be something like a spark plug, and to get to the spark plug, you need to take out the you know, the ignition wires or the ignition coils, and like to do all this kind of stuff. Or there might even be other parts kind of deeper within the vehicle. So this, you know, these different tools just kind of help you diagnose. And then, you know, things like upgrading our odds of successful repair. So yeah, level 1 is just like goes up to 55%, and you can see it goes up 75, and then finally up to 95, and then boom. This one is just like 95%, and then this one allows us to actually repair body parts, so like doors and fenders and things like that. Before you unlock this, you just straight up, if you want 100% door, you just had to buy it. Yeah, more car expense, you know, all that kind of stuff. So this is kind of cool. Like, if you're actually thinking of getting this game, if you've never played it before, like, it is kind of nice going through the progression. I will say some of the stuff, it might be a bit slow. Like, you have to do a good amount of work to get to level 30 here. This is where I feel like the game is, for the most part, like, you can do pretty much what you want. Being able to paint the car, and that's nice. So yeah, so that's just there. So we're about to level up. Although, as we've been leveling up, we have all these points available. We can't use them because it's kind of like in increments. So you don't want to unlock this until you're level 30. Then you get this at 35, then 40, 45. So 50 is the last one. I don't know what that does, but it looks good. Problem is, I'm going to have all these extra points. I don't know what you do with those. So seems a little poorly planned out, possibly. Anyways, let's finish up these wheels here. Yeah. So yeah, I know this is a longer video, again, just because I'm trying to pepper in explanations for people who aren't familiar with the game and all that. But as I do future restorations and stuff, it's going to be pretty much getting down to the nitty-gritty. And just talking more about my peppers and potatoes and various other things. But yeah. I've got a lot of houseplants too, like, it's one of those things, like, if I go away for a weekend, or I go shopping or something, I'm always, like, coming home with a new plant. Get stuff from my brother, my mom. My one brother, he works at an arboretum, so he's always, like, he's got the goods. Do I want to put the tires on just yet? Yeah, sure, why not? Let's get them on. Let's get it out of the way. And then pretty much ready to start working on the engine, which is mostly, it's the last large thing. Once we get that done, we'll put the body panels back on and the doors and the windows, and then we'll take her to the paint shop. Do a nice paint job. I think because I am leaning towards the performance one engine. So for that reason, I'm not gonna stick to the factory paint job. We're gonna get another one of these. This is like a rare car. I'd like to have two of them. One is like fully factory stock, and then one is like, you know, the goods. You know what I'm saying? This is the goods. This is the goods. So we got that. And, oh, sneak over here. Get this bad boy in. Alright, so that's pretty much that. Did I get all these rubber bushings in? I can't see that one yet. Also, let me just double check something. I feel like I might have put in some crummy rubber bushings earlier. So far, nope. So everything is 100%. So you can see now that we've taken all the parts off. You know, these are the parts that we need to put back in. So that's kind of cool to have that. So we're gonna lower that. I meant to take the engine out and then take it apart over here on the engine stand, but I mean, the thing is, we weren't gonna keep it as is. We're gonna do a complete rebuild. So, and I was kind of like on autopilot, so I didn't even think about that. I ended up just taking it apart piece by piece in the car, but that's fine. That's the beautiful thing about this video game, is doing that in a real life car. You'd want to take it apart outside of the car, and here it's like, is not much difference. It's more of like a role playing kind of thing. Oh yeah, what am I doing? Yes. So here we're gonna again double check. So we got the V8 2 carb overhead. Okay. V8 2 carb. So we're gonna create a new engine, and here you can see all the engines in the game, which is pretty cool. They have a good variety. One problem is they don't have an inline 5, a straight 5, and that's what is in my Volvo 850 Turbo. That's right. 5. Not 4, not 6, 5. Not a super common engine. So I'd love to do that. But anyways, you can see, got quite a variety here. Wait, where was... Yeah, and then here's your V12 twin turbo. These are some pretty beefy dudes. That's 721 horsepower, but in this game you can add, again, the performance parts, and I've done that, and it effectively doubles. So I've had this one up to 1,429 horsepower. It varies a little bit depending on what car you're actually putting it in, but anyways, let's get what we're coming for. So there's the one carburetor, 291 horsepower. 2 carb, 330. 2 carbs, yeah, you got more air going on. Air's good. Air's good. All right. Let me just double check. Yep, 2 carb. But look at that. The factory engine power is 245. What? This one was 330. But when we put this in the car, it'll... I don't know. It doesn't... The thing is that they have a good variety of engines, but engines are always, you know, they're oftentimes a bit different in the car. They put different parts on them and stuff like that. So this 330 will probably, when we go and test it, it'll be the 245 here. Actually, though, it's going to be crazy different because we're going to do performance parts. Ignore what I'm saying. So anyways, part mount, again, I'm going to start putting on parts that, because I've played this game enough at this point to know what performance parts we can buy and what aren't. I think we probably restored most of the parts on here as well, but we may have to buy a few ones. But engine block, there's no performance version of that. We need to buy a new fuel filter, plus there's a performance version. Same with the ignition coil, the alternator, and the power steering. So let's go to our shop here. So fuel filter. So there we go. Also, I didn't put in the fuel pump earlier when I was putting in the tank because I knew there was a performance version. So you can see in the bottom corner here, you know, plus 0.6%, plus 1.5%. So those are gonna, you know, it seems maybe not that significant here and there, but if you're doing all or as many parts as you can performance, that adds up. So that's why I'm saying we're basically going to double the horsepower. Oh yeah, alternator. There we go. What else? The power steering. So that's a V8. Now they don't have a V12 power steering pump or performance edition, so it's like they don't have everything for every engine. Sometimes you just got to deal with it, but definitely want that. We definitely want that. The ignition coil bay. We're gonna need these wires, yeah. What else do I need? While I'm here, let's think of the pistons. We can do those guys. We need 8 of them. Spark plugs as well. We need 8 of those. Each one does 0.13. That adds up. The engine heads. Well, that's a good start. Actually, let me do one more thing here though. Piston. I need the piston rings. For sure. Rod caps and the crankshaft bearing caps, we can repair those. I'm not sure if we effectively repaired all of them, but I'll just wait to see. So yeah, you can see that other fuel filter wasn't 100% quality because you can't repair it. Ignition coil, yeah, we can repair, so we can use this, or we can use this one. It looks better, and plus 4%. I almost said 14%, but 4% is still very good. The camshaft, I think there is a performance version of that. Not the crankshaft, though. Camshaft. Oopsies. I spelt it wrong. You gotta be careful of that. There we go. There is. It's 2.75. And don't you forget it. And the crankshaft we can repair. Did we? Oh, we did repair it. We did. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We also need that ignition stuff. Excuse me, ignition. So there's the distributor. The rotor, there is right there. And then the cap is right there. So let's get that assembly. That's 5% right there. 0.5. So you can already see, like, just on these few parts we've put in there and that we've bought, we were getting up there. The clips, fortunately, we can repair those. I mean, they're super cheap to buy, but, you know. So this thing, it's a good thing we've got the slick tires. That's all I'm going to say. This thing's going to have a good amount of the ponies. Cam gear we can't repair, and there is no performance part. Cam gear. And I just like to add the OHV. Like, when I'm doing these searches, if you play this game again, you kind of learn certain quick things to type in a lot of the times to get to the part you're looking for. If I just did, like, cam, you can see you got the cam shafts, all the different types of cam gears, cam caps, so on and so forth. You know, if I add cam gear, it narrows it down. But the OHV, because that's the one we needed, that's why I added that. So, you know, you learn a few tricks here and there. Also, we need the timing chain, so I'm going to go ahead and get that. Timing, and I'll just put OHV. Again, it's like a bunch of different stuff, but it's fairly narrow, so it's easy just to find the one I'm looking for, and bam! So there you go, and then the cover, did we repair it? Ooh, we failed big time. But it's right there. Very nice. Another thing I wish they would add to this game is like custom painting of things like the engine block, the engine heads, you know, water pump. Being able to do custom paint on that would be pretty cool. I don't expect them to have it. I'm just saying, having you be able to paint more than just the body, I dig that. Also, if you can hear it playing outside, I apologize. It is a little humid, so I have the window open, although that's just letting the humidity in. So, but I just don't like being in a stuffy apartment. So maybe you can't hear it though, and maybe you think I'm crazy now. I'm okay with that. Water, OHV. Here's our pump. And we need a water pump pulley. Pulley. We also need a crank pulley, OHV. We also need belts. Put this in the brackets actually help narrow it down sometimes. Actually, I'll show you a belt, OHV. So you got, you know, it's different. There's like V8, OHV, you know, C, G, you know, all those different ones. So sometimes the brackets will help you narrow it down. But anyways, I suspect a few of you out there that are watching this are just like, I don't care about cars. I just want to hear him talk about peppers a little bit more, which is totally fine. That's actually like why I decided to record some of this. Is oh, that's right. We didn't have the fan. Yeah, it's just like my relaxing type of game. Oopsies. There. So a lot of times I'll put on Netflix if somebody's streaming or some other YouTube videos, whatever form of content. I'll just kind of put it on the side, and then I'll just build some cars. Go search for cars. All right, so far so good. Actually, let's do this. Oh wait, there's a performance flywheel, I believe. Flywheel. Fly me to the wheel and let me be among the cars. Show me what life is like on Mercury and Saturn. So, you know, Mercury is a type of car. Saturn, you know, actually, Saturn and Mercury are both, you know, rest in pepperonis. But yeah, there's no car company called Mars to the best of my knowledge. So, you know, sorry, Frank. Sorry. All right, so here we go. That's the other thing I kind of wish they would have a bit more of in the game in the future, is more of like assembling certain parts before putting them in. So this here, you know, the piston and the piston rings. It'd be cool too if, because you're gonna see under here we've got the bearing caps, but you don't have to like assemble the bearings or whatever. But again, I think a lot of that, they tried to balance it so it's not super detailed in some areas to the point where you're just like annoyed. Which I can kind of appreciate, but I was thinking there is like an expert mode. I actually have another save file where I'm playing in there. What the expert mode does, to the best of my knowledge, you see how this is like highlighted yellow and then green? It removes the highlight. So it's like you gotta know where the nuts and bolts go and which parts you can, like what order you have to take parts off and put them on again. And once you've played this game for 100 hours, you've got a pretty good idea. Oh, I forgot to buy those. Valve. Oh, I'm in the performance shop. Go. So yeah, it's like I decided to start a veteran one. Just because that's kind of fun. But I think it'd be cool if they had more of that like assembling. Oh, I gotta buy the rocker arms too. Assembling stuff in like maybe just in the expert mode. So in the normal mode, whatever, you don't have to assemble the pistons and the piston rings. Not that that's hard, but just giving an example where, oops, I just said you gotta buy the rocker arms. So yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. And maybe in the, you know, future when the game is optimized, if they do ever decide to add, you know, hosing and tubing and other like electrical wires and stuff, which would probably be pretty hard to like to actually do in the game, or to like just to like develop that. But if they did that, then you also throw that in the expert mode. It'd be cool though, because once you get to that level of detail, this is Car Mechanic Simulator. But I mean, it'd be like for Rizzle, like a real, like the crazy thing is these types of games, like I've learned a lot about cars just from playing this, and a lot of other simulators are like that. That's why you've got games like Flight Simulator or X-Plane. Like you can actually use that, I guess, to kind of count towards your flight training or stuff like that, because they're so accurate. So I feel like, you know, that'd be pretty cool. Although, you know, mechanic is not gonna exist as an occupation in the future. I mean, basically you're gonna have like, you know, I don't know, like crazy advanced technicians or whatever at Tesla labs. Like you're not gonna take your car to a garage, it's gonna go to a lab to get fixed. Or like it'll go to the Apple Genius bar. Excuse me, sir, did you book an appointment for the Apple Genius bar? No, but my radiator, the DAE. Yeah. So, I mean, we're just kind of interesting to think about that. I've always no, F in chat. I forgot we gotta buy the performance head cover. Aw, man, I put in these freaking rocker arms and it's not bad. I'm glad I realized it now rather than once it was like all completely together and in the car. Also, man, I was on autopilot. This freaking exhaust manifold. I think there's performance version of that as well. Jeez Louise. All that sweet horsepower, that HP sauce I'm missing out on, or I could have been missing out on. And maybe slow, but watch me go. Anyways. So yeah. But I mean, that's the thing with a game like this too, like, because of the relative complexity. You know, you can't just go in and throw absolute simulation in, because you're gonna run into issues like optimization, which this game has been criticized of, but they've done a pretty good job of fixing that. You know, I hope they continue to do so, and then find a nice balance, and then when they're good and ready, add some more stuff, or just start working towards the next version. Yeah, Car Mechanic 2021. Engine head. Engine head. Just do this V8 OHV because there's multiple versions. Otherwise, we need 2 of those. I also need manifold V8 OHV. Dose, please. So yeah, the thing about this game is, you know, if you gotta buy 1 of something, oftentimes you've got to buy 2, or double the amount, right? Because you know, a lot of things in the car are symmetrical. 2 wheels on the left side, 2 wheels on the right. You know, suspension is all the same on both sides, and all that stuff. The brakes and so on and so forth. You know, some stuff there's only 1 of. Fuel tank, fuel pump, the whole engine assembly. But I mean, when you look at the engine individual, like one component to the next, you got 2 engine heads. You've got 8 valve rods on either side, 8 rocker arms. I mean, on this type of engine, let me just say that. I mean, again, there's some pretty big differences from one engine to the next. Fundamentally, they're pretty similar, except if you're looking at... Actually, something I've never done in this game yet is... so they've got the Mazda... Yeah, honking's gonna solve all your problems out there, buddy. Did you guys hear that honk? It's a very aggressive honk. What was I gonna say? Yeah, they have the Mazda DLC, and Mazda, they've in the cars they've got here, that it's like a rotary engine. So that's pretty different from most of these other engines you're gonna see me building. But yeah, they've got like some RX-3 in this game. There's RX-7, I think. They have some other ones. RX-5, yeah. But I mean, they're like older too. Oh, look at that. And see, this, it looks a bit shinier too than the default one. Oh, oil. Oil can. Oil can. All right, there you go. Let's put that guy on while we're thinking of it. Oh yeah, this thing's gonna look good. And at some point when I do the other one, whenever we find our next Daytona Coupe, and that one's gonna be stock, I'll bring this guy back into the garage. We'll have them side by side. We'll lift the hood, you know, kind of see a little compare and contrast. I mean, yeah, it's nice. Very nice. Oh, there's the ignition wires, which I think I already bought. We can put those on. Yeah, now that we have all the spark plugs. Nice red. The default, you know, factory ones, I think they're just like a black cable. It's kind of nice having the red here. It just pops a little bit more. It's weird. There's like, you know, a lot of engines, the whole factory, and, you know, you just... depending on the kind of car, like if it's like a Toyota Corolla or whatever, it's like, you're gonna look at it and be like, meh. But once you start adding these performance parts and doing restorations of older cars, it's like, it just becomes a thing of art. Where you actually, like, you want to display it. You don't want it to hide away and, you know, you keep it clean, right? You clear off all that grease and oil and dirt and grime. If I had a car with an engine like this, you can bet your bottom dollar I would keep it pretty clean. One thing I'd like to do with my Volvo, though, someday, can't remember, is there, I think there should be manifold. To carb, to card. Yeah, there you go. I would like to do a full restore someday. It's not something you can just like do, but let's say I win the lottery tomorrow. You know, I'm gonna go out, buy my small island. Oh, definitely can get performance of these. Buy my small island, build my little sustainable compound, and then proceed to build a monstrous Volvo, which not sustainable. No, but I'd like to just take it all apart, you know, restore what I can, order, you know, new cables and new seals and new bearings and, you know, all that stuff I need to do. But because it's well, it's a 25-year-old car pretty much, you know, a lot of those parts you can't just like get to do special order, or they don't even make them anymore, so you need to get like an OEM, you know, replica kind of thing, and that costs a lot of money. Like, someday I'd like to do that. I think that would be quite lovely, because I love the car. I think it's sexy. Do a Google search. It's 1994 Volvo 850 Turbo. It's red, which is probably the color you'll see when you do the Google image search. It's like a deep red. Mine has a spoiler. The one without a spoiler looks oddly not that great. And this isn't like an obnoxious spoiler, but it's there. It's just kind of like, yeah. And I'm not a fan of like big obnoxious spoilers. On, you know, cars that, you know, unless you're going 100 whatever miles and you need the downforce, but how often do you do that? Well, I guess if you're on the racetrack, probably a lot. But anyways, we're pretty much done with the engine here. We just got to get these rod caps. Looks like, yeah, I repaired all of them to 100%, which is nice. The crankshaft bearing caps, though, let's see. So I've got two here. Actually, I think we were clearly just missing some from the get-go, because if I fail to repair some of them, it doesn't just like make them disintegrate. It just brings them down to 1 or 2% quality. So you're not going to use them, but it's like, you know, that you know, you screwed up or what have you. So we'll buy one. It's not a performance part. Crank, bearing, cap, or CAs. Close enough. CA for Canada. Also, there is radio station in this game, but I like the classical music. Oh crap, so we were missing a rod cap. I guess I didn't count. That's fine. Honestly, some of the cars you'll see that in future videos that we find in the barns or the junkyard. Like, the engines are missing a lot of parts. This was actually a fairly, like, it had most of the parts from what I could tell. You know, not in great condition, but most of them were there. All right, let's flip this bad boy up. Let's get a good look at that sexy beast. Nice and shiny. I love the red on the air filter too. wires. It's just such a nice touch. And now what I want to do, put it, basically it's going in a box. It should be in our inventory if we look here. A lot of that stuff I'm going to end up selling afterwards. Yeah, so there's our engine. And because we haven't put it in the car, like, it doesn't really... It's weird that it's like, I don't know what condition it is. Excuse me. It's 100%. It's 100%. Let's get rid of that. Actually, I'm going to get rid of stuff I know I'm not using. Gearbox. There's an upgraded version. So I'm just going to sell that now. I've already put in the clutch and flywheel stuff. So I don't need that. Exhaust. We don't have. I guess we never had. Or wait. Yeah, no, we never. That's something else I guess is probably missing. But we're going to put in performance exhaust. Brakes, I've already done. Actually, here's what it's going to make it a lot easier. I'm just going to sell parts that are, say, like 94 is fine. But we didn't end up. Yeah, that's right. They don't use drum brakes. Wait, did we not put the servo in? Oh, let's get that stuff out of the way. Fan I want to keep. These guys I can get rid of. Head. Fuel pump, we still need that. Need battery. The seats. I mean, I'm going to sell those. I'm going to get 100% ones because we can't repair. Most of the body stuff is good. We'll have to buy new windows. But we'll do that when we start putting that stuff on. So now this is the cool part. Watch this. Install. So in the past, I've built like a bunch of engines, especially if it's easier if I want to build the same engine and have a bunch of them on hand. Like I did that in the past with a bunch of V12s because I was like, I'm going to restore this McLaren and this Lamborghini and this Ferrari, da-da-da, and they all use the V12. It's like, I'll just buy all the parts, but I'll buy like 3 sets or 4 sets and then just kind of not spam, but like put them all the engines together pretty quickly. So yeah, and I mean, you can have any number of engines in here and like kind of start working on them and then come back. It's actually, I like it quite a bit, but anyways, I just have the one engine, so now it's sitting in there all pretty like. So let's just double check. Yeah, I did not put the battery in and I did not put the servo in. So that's there. So now we're gonna have to lift this bad boy up to do the gearbox. One second. Send you away. I'm gonna take some of my drink here. So yeah, restorations don't typically take this long, but again, I've been going a little bit slower than I normally would, explaining, you know, a lot of the basics about the game, and you know, I'm having a good time too. I'm not rushing. It's not the point of why I'm making this video or why I'm playing this game. You know, it's kind of like a way for me to relax. So, gearbox, we're gonna replace that with a. It's not so much like it doesn't itself really increase your performance. Like you're not gonna see a percentage on here like the other parts, but what it does is it allows you to actually tune the gearbox itself, whereas the default factory ones, it's like it is what it is, you know. What you see is what you get, whereas here we can add, so you know, 6 gear, 7 gear, 8 gear, whatever, and you can change the ratios and stuff like that. So it's like, do you want the car to be faster off the line, or do you want it to have like a faster top speed, you know, different things like that. So it's cool. I'm not very good at that. I mostly just like, I'll take it out on the speed track and be like, are we like getting all that we can get, or can we get more? Okay, well, I'll just add an extra gear and then test that out. So that's pretty much the extent of what I do with it. But I mean, if you're a real wizard with this stuff, I'm sure you could do some pretty nifty things. Drive shaft we have. Yeah, we repaired that, which is nice. The other cool thing, like, I'd love to see my 850 turbo in here. It's a front wheel drive. You don't got none of this drive shaft business. Basically, I'd like to have a replica of my car in this game, more for selfish reasons, just so I can, like, understand exactly every part and see every potential issue and just, you know how it ticks, you know? I guess I could just go read about it on the internet a little bit more, or go look in the manual that's sitting in my glove box that I never look at. Wait, did I have anything else to put on? Global body parts, fuel pump, radiator. Okay. So the fuel pump will do that last. Is the radiator? I'm not sure if we have. Okay, so let's buy these fans. Rad fan. That and that. There we go. Bam. And yeah, I mean, there are even, when it comes to performance parts, like, you can get bigger radiators, that provide more cooling, and, you know, more cooling is better performance, all that kind of stuff. So, like, I think it'd be pretty sweet if they added other performance parts. You know, these shocks here, right? Like, you can get, some pretty crazy, you know, different suspension systems. You know, the brakes, again, for, like, super high-end sports cars now, or supercars, or hypercars, whatever they're calling them. Like, you know, you get your ceramic stuff, and, yeah. But yeah, I'm not complaining. I think there's a lot of potential, especially now that they, kind of have, like, it seems like a nice sort of framework. Like, it changed a bit from the Car Mechanic 2015, I think, for the better. So yeah, I don't think they need to do drastic changes for the next iteration of the game, just adding more systems and optimization, and probably, like, you know, more content and like more variety of cars and stuff like that. But yeah, so now the car should be 100% for the parts, 100% for the frame, 100% interior, and we just got to get the body parts back on, get it all painted to a color that looks pretty sweet, put it on the dyno just so we can see the actual engine power, and we'll take it out for a quick test drive, and that'll wrap up this, you know, fairly long video that I'm having way too much fun with, and hopefully you're also enjoying. So first we'll do the doors. Yeah, actually, here, let's see. Oh yeah, wrong button. I'm just gonna go here. Daytona. So you can see there's, like, different versions of this. The way they named it here is, you know, it's kind of a little messy, but it's a mod. So we've got, where's the normal? So this is the normal left door window. Because I have so much money, I'm gonna buy, you know what? I'm actually gonna buy one of everything. And then as we're putting it on, because this is the performance version, so maybe, you know, I don't feel so bad deviating from factory. Yeah, I know I'm dropping $15,000 on hoods that I'm not even gonna use, but When you got $40 million, you can afford it. And I could go around and sell this car and I'd still make a juicy profit once we get these body parts on. So let's see. Let's actually remove this door. Oh, so let me do... Let's put the hood on first. I need to put the engine cover in there. So this is the default hood. This is actually the one that we restored. So that one. This one basically just looks... It's not a different color because we're going to paint the car. Oh, okay, you can see this little kind of triangle there. That's different. So there's something there that doesn't seem to be on this one. This one, let's see. See what that looks like. Nah, see, I don't like that. It's too much flare. If the tires were out further, like I actually like how it is back here, right? The tires kind of flush, so you know, we'll take that one off. We'll try. Oh yeah, so this is the same as that one. Let me just see. This guy looks like I want to try the alternate as well. Ah, interesting. So it's this guy. Ah. So I mean, I don't think it's actually going to affect the car at all. And maybe it does, but it's carbon fiber. But it doesn't have the, yeah, that little front kind of triangle deflector type dealio. And that thing was up, that was up here. But you know what? Let's pretend that this does affect the car's performances. You know, we want the car to be as light as possible. Nowadays, we got all this carbon fiber technology. We'll get it painted up nicely. But for the most part, the rest of it is the same. Yeah, I dig it. Actually, let's get around the side here to, So you know what? Maybe we go... Wait. This is also carbon fiber. That's E. Oh. Oh, so this is if we've got, like, the wide flare on the rear. No, but we can't actually change that. Oh, actually, you know what? There is a wide body version of the Daytona in the game that I've seen. So this is probably for that. And it's not intended for this. This is not the wide body version, so let's just do but let's do this one because it's the carbon fiber as well. Let's just pretend, you know, we're getting all this crazy performance out of it. Tinted, you know, that's the tinted open, tinted closed, open, closed, default. Let's try the tinted. I kind of, we'll see. I might put the clear on. It depends on the color almost, I feel. But I think I almost prefer the clear, to be honest with you. But so trunk, there's only one version of that. Trunk window. They don't have the image there. I don't know why, but I think this is just tinted. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of cool too. Let's try the normal one though. I don't know. Imagine this is carbon fiber as well. Yeah. Again, we're gonna paint it, so you're not gonna see the carbon fiber pattern. But on some of these like super ultra crazy cars, like the carbon fiber is a piece of art itself, so they don't paint over it. Like I think like some of the Pagani cars, right? Like, you know, they just have the exposed. It's like tinted or something maybe, but yeah, it's pretty neat. So we want that D. So that's the window. This is like, oh, interesting. It's like a little scoop. Oh, that is too. It's just the window. Okay, I thought it was flush by default, but I am mistaken. So yeah, this is performance, baby. Keep it closed. All right. Actually, did I put the mirror on the other side? Yeah, we'll go find out afterwards. Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Tinted. Ooh, baby. It's tinted too, you know? Let's try it. This guy. Oh yeah, and that's the thing about this. There is no right side mirror, just the left side. What else? We've got the tail lights. You know what? We're going with the tinted. Let's see. You know, I do personally. I think I prefer the chrome. You know, the more silver metallic look, but so this we've got. There's this weird kind of like hook-like thing. And then this is the modified. This is like for fancy sports cars and stuff. You see these. I don't like the look of it, at least on this. So I'm not gonna do it. Let's go with the original one though. And is that it? We need the license plates, I know. Oh, yes. How could I forget? Oh my. Okay, so this is the original one. What does this one look like? Oh, so it's like, it's a short little bad boy. That's pretty badass, but because of the way the body is, you know, now this seems kind of empty here. So I'm gonna take that off and yeah. Now this won't get painted though. So, and it's not like carbon fiber. It's either going to be the white of the default one or this black. So I guess it'll depend on what color we actually do the car. But the black could look kind of sharp. So there's that. We need the interior stuff. Oh yeah, the engine cover. What the? Oh, I forgot this guy. Wait a minute. Did I not buy that piece? They don't. They have a left rear fender. They don't have the right. Well, because of that, I'm going to use glass on both sides. That's odd. I feel like that's just a mistake or something. But now this bothers me because this is, it's not tinted. It's Kind of hard to tell though, to be honest, especially depending on what angle you're looking at it from. But it's a bit of a bummer, but it's okay. We'll do the license plate last. Gotta open this bad boy up so I can do the engine cover here. Oh yeah. And then now we do the interior. Typhoon. This is in the game. They have the DC Typhoon, which is basically their AC Cobra. So that's why this mod is just using this setup. I guess they probably similar enough to the real deal. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Go back normal mode. Also, now I want to show you this. Now that we've got all the pieces in, doesn't that look cool? It's all green, baby. It's all green. It's all in the hips. It's now just the license plate. So this is cool. You can make your own. If I can remember how to work things here. So they have, you know, all these different countries and stuff. Hawaii, that's nice, little rainbow. Maine, oh, that's actually very pleasant. Malta, do they have Malf? No, they don't. The problem is, watch this. Canada. Ontario? Totally shafted. I think the developer is European. I think they're actually Polish in particular, but all I gotta say is what gives? However, I mean the California license plate, it's just like, it's kind of iconic. I like it. It's simple. So I always like to do this. And we're gonna call this Malf 1. Oops, it has this weird glitch where it does that. And then on future ones, we'll do Malf 2, Malf 3, Malf 4, etc. So then we kind of remember the order that we made them. I mean, plus if we really wanted, we could always change them later, but... And maybe I'll get even more creative, though. Maybe I'll start naming them different, like, I'll give them nicknames or something, like Chainsaw and Savior. And I don't know. So now, last thing. Not quite the last thing, but last thing in this position. Let's lube up, baby. Yeah, that's the other thing. The game, in terms of fluids, all you ever have to deal with is oil. You know, you don't have to deal with things like brake fluid or transmission fluid or, you know, engine coolant, all that other stuff. Just like fine, but that's something for like future versions of the game. It's like have all the different, you know, reservoirs, little tanks for the different liquids and all that kind of stuff. Move car. We're gonna go paint it. Actually, go in the side door. Alright. I mean, all this stuff is pretty much for aesthetics. You click on any one of these and they all do the same thing. Paint the car, or you can paint parts. I guess I don't have any parts that need painting, or how does that? I don't know. I never paint individual parts. So you can see here, you can set factory, you can set current. They just happen to be the same, but a lot of times you'll get cars and the factory color will be different than what it is by default. But what I want to do is I hope this actually gets painted, the carbon fiber. If not, I'm definitely going to fix that, but let's just do a little test paint. What? Well, alright. Let's, that's the ugliest thing of all time. Why? Why? Why would you do that? Why? Well, you know what? Now I just want to do the normal parts. I'm sorry. I had assumed, and I made an ass of you and me. Let's take off all this stuff. Except for these guys. We know they're fine. Actually, the trunk was fine, but your bumper's fine. Yeah, let's go with the normal. Mobile body. Front, rear, the seats. Engine cover's fine. Rear bumper's fine. Alright. Disassemble. Factory everything. Yeah, I thought they're gonna let me paint that stuff, man. That guy. Got our special little trunk here. These taillights. Yeah. Give me that classic. Our door. Wait, did I do that door on this side? Yeah, okay. Window, windshield, I've already done. Yeah, it's the same. And then the headlights. Yeah, honestly, I don't really like the tinted stuff. Especially here, but I thought, we'll do it on the windows. See if it gives us a different look. Which it did, but I didn't like that look as much. Did I do this guy? Alright, so we're at 100%. Let's paint this sucker. Excuse me. I'd like to paint now. Thank you. Alright, so now you can see. Yeah, so it shows you before you even paint. I forgot about that. We can change the view. I don't know. There's... also, I should show. There's this stuff. So we can do... Ooh. Stripes 2. Oh, that's actually kind of neat. Although I don't want it to be yellow. Is there like... That's the thing. This you can't change the color of. I wish I could. If I can make that white. I mean, it's kind of cool. And then what color would I do this? I mean, you could do black, dark blue. I don't want it to be too crazy. Like, trying to make it fit with the yellow, right? Let's see what, Nah, too... Like this stripe. Wait, that's there's two. There's this stripe and then stripe 2. What's the difference? Oh, that's weird. Not crazy about that. You know what? We're just gonna go with the classic. And by classic, I just mean none. Pretty sure with the race stripes is classic for a lot of these old cars. So what color do I want? I like red. Yellow could be sweet. I don't want pink. I'm gonna save red for some other cars. I even wonder. I could go black. No, you know. Oh, also, metallic. There's matte, which I'm not gonna do. It's pearl. Chameleon. I love chameleon. So you know what? Let's get a better angle on this. Actually, that's a pretty good angle. Green? Nah. I don't want it to be super bright yellow. Silver, like a light silver would work really well with this car too, but... Ooh. That's actually kind of nice. Oh, look at that. It's kind of a bronzy gold. Oh. Yeah. Mouth. Let's do it. Paint that mofo. All right. It's beautiful. So we're gonna move this to the dyno. Get her tested out. So remember, well, it'll show us here. We don't actually need to close that door, but factory, 245 horsepower. You know, it's nothing to sneeze at. But let's see what it's at now. They'll show us our gain or loss, but it's most assuredly going to be a gain. Oh, get ready. $457. So like I said, not quite double in this instance. Actually, I've never actually seen one be more than like 100% or more gain. It's usually 80, 90% for a lot of these, but that's still pretty good. All right, so we're gonna exit out of here, and we're gonna go and take this on a couple test drives. First, we're gonna hit the speed track, and then we're gonna go off to the abandoned airport and just do some burnouts. Let's go. I'll take a second to load up here, but you know what? I got time. Video is long enough as already, you know. Might as well do the whole kit and caboodle. In the future, I might, with some of these, maybe I might cut out some of the restoration parts. Like, I don't know, but we'll see. I also like this view, but I mean, you can do this one. You can kind of hand control as you're driving. Wow, that looks like it's wrapped in freaking gold. Oh my gosh, it looks so much better out here. The more natural lighting. But let's just get this view. All right, ready? All right. I mean, it doesn't sound super beastly, but it sounds nice. I also I didn't do any tuning. I don't think we're gonna hit any sort of top speed. We're only in fourth. Got another. Did we not have a fifth gear? I'm gonna return to garage. And add a 5th gear for sure. Do that again. Just because, I mean, we were maxing out there. I think we get a little more oomph. A little more speed. Oh, it's such a good looking car. Alright. Tune parts. Yeah, we only have 4 gears. So having the custom gearbox, though, we can add another one. Yeah, let's take it up to 2,462 kilometers. Not actually. I'm gonna set this just to be up around 300. This is going 300. Yeah, like, I have no idea, like, gear ratios and all this stuff. I don't know. You can slide this, like, final ratio around. You can do whatever, but... save it, and we can always go back, add another gear, and customize as we see. Also, I didn't actually look at it myself. Car valuation, $3,407,250. Restoration bonus, $681,450. So if I sold this car, I had this money plus this money. So this is like a $4.5 million car now. For me, if I'm not selling it. But that's how I got all this sweet cheddar. Actually, the McLaren F1, if you do like a full restore, including the restoration bonus, I think it's like 9 million or something like that. So that's an easy way to make big bucks. I worked my way up to being able to even just afford the McLaren F1 to then restore it, because they still sell for like $1 million or $2 million bucks in a crappy state. So, so let's give this one more test. All right. Oh yeah. Little sway. Fortunately with this, I don't need to steer all that much. I just need to give it a little tap to make sure we stay on the track. Alright, so we've already bested our top speed of the last one, but we're not gonna, yeah, we could have gotten a little bit higher of a top speed, but I'm not sure we would have actually got up to 300. But still, you can see how adding that extra, the 5th gear, we got a few more kilometers out of it. Not too shabby. So now, the final test. We take it to the airport. We let loose. I don't expect it to control super well, especially because we've effectively doubled the horsepower. And there are no, like I said, performance, suspension or brakes or anything like that. So I feel like it'd be cool if they added that stuff into the game, and then that, enabled you to actually drive these cars with more control. Oh, man. All right, ready? Actually, this is controlling reasonably well. Better than I kind of expected. Normally, if I do like the V12 and I put all the performance parts on, you go from like 800 to 1300 horsepower. And if you just like nudge, well, I mean, this is kind of steering a little bit out of control when I hit left. I meant to do that. But, actually it's fairly reasonable. But I'm tempted to get, like a cheap steering wheel and pedals. I don't know if you know of any, like, good brand slash model. Not like crazy expensive, just something kind of basic. Let me know, because I'd definitely be interested in maybe getting that if it makes it a little bit easier to control these guys. But let's change the camera again. Oopsies. Bye. I like this one, yeah, because I don't have to move my mouse to keep track of it. But you can do some pretty cool stuff with the camera, you know. Oh, you see how difficult it is to control. Let's do this. Not bad. If I had a bit more speed, we would have got a full 360. I think. Alright, a little more speed. A little more. There you go. See, I told you. I know what I'm doing. It's not rocket appliances. Skirt. Oh, you thought I was gonna hit. It is a little weird not having, like, a driver in here, even, like, a dummy driver, but, you know. I don't have super crazy expectations from the actual driving portion of this game, per se. I'm absolutely glad that they have it included. But, I do think this, you know, again, having different parts that make it easier to control and stuff would probably be for the best. And me just getting a steering wheel, like I said. Oh. Just look at this. Look at that. It's a beautiful color. I just want to put this freaking color scheme on every car. Also, I love just driving from, like, this zoomed out. I don't know why, but it's oddly satisfying seeing the car look this small. Looks like a little Hot Wheel. Still mad I sold all my Hot Wheels when I was a kid at a yard sale. I was like, eh, I'm a big boy now. But I regret it every day. I just sold the whole bucket of them for like $5 or something. It was a big bucket. Mouth. Ah! Alright. Let's return to the garage. Actually, there's also a photo shooting mode that I never really used. But you know what? I think it'd be cool to make some pretty sweet, you know, like custom wallpapers and stuff. Let's see here. Operate functions. F1, F2, F3, F4. I'll hold. I mean, I'm holding. Oh, I also have to use the mouse. I see. So if I hold F1 and then move the mouse, changes the height. Okay. But I can also move around. But I guess that's a good way to, like, really frame your shot kind of how you want it. Actually, I don't know. I feel like I wonder if can I do the photo mode out like in the airport, because if it could, I'd much rather do it there, to be honest. But F2 is the focus. That's pretty cool. Ignore the milk over there. I think that's milk. F3 is oh, the rotation. I wish I could use the scroll wheel for this. That's kind of cool, though. Back to 0, please. There's like a reset button. Oh, there you go. So that's the depth. That's pretty sweet. So if I got closer. Wait. If we get further. Yeah. It's not perfect. Or I'm not perfect. Or both. Anyways. And then we can do... Ah! And then it puts it in like your screenshot folder that you have for Steam. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm surprised I never actually tried to do that. But that's neat. It's pretty neat. Alright, well. I'm gonna go and put this in the parking garage. And I'll quickly show you that just so I can say. So I bought all these. You start with like just the one parking level. And then you can buy more that cost, you know, more and more. But you can see on each one, like it'll show you the list of the different cars and the color and the engine, which is kind of nice. Especially once you get a lot of cars. Because once you're in the parking, like you can't move to the different levels while you're there, which I'm not sure why not. You have to actually come back here to the garage and then go to a different level. But anyways, we've only got the one car. I sold all my other cars so that we could restore and rebuild everything together. Because I'm a nice guy. What can I say? So that's just... Now, the one thing as well, this room is very not optimized when there's more than one car. Because I've streamed this game a couple times before, and then I've come in here when I've got 12 cars. And the game's like, I can't, can't compute. Oh, actually, yeah, you can do the photo mode in here, which is actually, I like that. I just wish you could actually move the car itself a little bit more, but, you know. So there it is. Soon you're gonna have company, my friend. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this. I wouldn't expect like a new video every day kind of dealio, but maybe in some instances you'll see a few every day for little chunks of time and all that. But I really enjoy the game. I think playing it is nice. And hopefully you've enjoyed just watching me fix up this car. What I should do is also somehow edit in like a before and after. I guess I could take an actual photo in-game of the before and then the photo after. So I'm going to try to remember to do that from now on. And then this is just a fun little thing to do. But anyways, if you did enjoy this, give it a thumbs up so I know. Comment about whatever. If you want to talk about peppers or cars or anything, do that. If you've played this game and there are certain cars you kind of think I should maybe try to restore earlier or sooner, let me know as well. I mean, I've got some ideas of stuff, and I'm just going to try and go and find whatever in the junkyard or in the barns. But, I'd like to hear what you have to think about it. And, yeah, so there we go. Our first sort of restore. It's a performance. It's not a factory restore, but it's fun. I like that extra horsepower. It's kind of nice in this deal, though. It is a race car after all, Old school, sexy race car. Mouth 1. Anyways, that's going to do it. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace out.